Hello, this is Marco Rock again for another week of exciting interview inside of Greenmount. I'm your host, and today we have Mr. Franck Ebang. Frank, how are you?
How you doing, Rock? Pretty good.
I'm doing good. Good to have you on the show.
Indeed.
So you are a translator, interpreter, and then the author of Tear of Love.
That's right.
Standing for My Dream.
That's right.
And then you have an upcoming book called The Purpose.
The Purpose.
Well, I'm very excited to hear more about all your books. So first, before we talk about the book, so you're a professional translator and interpreter.
That's right.
So what are the rewards and the challenges to be in such a field?
Lorok, it's a great question.
Yeah.
I believe that, when I was studying languages, I read a quote by Nelson Mandela, and he said, if you speak to a man in a language he understands, it goes into their head.
Yes.
If you speak a man into his language, it goes to his heart.
To his language.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I figured that, you see, if you speak somebody's language, you embrace their culture,
Exactly.
you embrace their personality,
Exactly.
and you break down that wall. And I wanted to be that guy that can integrate every society. So I decided to learn languages and make it a life.
Wow. So then what are the challenges that you face part of this job, and what are the opportunities?
Literally, I believe that it's not easy to actually learn a second language. It's not. We have to say that. It's not an easy thing. But when it comes from the heart, it makes it becomes easier and fun at the same time. I get confused sometimes, I have to admit.
You get confused?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I would see myself speaking French.
Yes.
And I ended up using Spanish words or German words sometimes.
That's crazy.
Let me tell you a little story. There was a time I was speaking with my dad over the phone, and we were speaking French. And I had no idea that while I was talking to him about a scholarship, which would be la bourse in French, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So I ended up speaking English and saying scholarship, and my dad kept saying, "What are you saying? Qu'est-ce que tu dis? What are you saying?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, forget me. I meant bourse."
Yeah.
So it's challenging to that extent that sometimes if you're not that, if you can have control over that, you can easily get carried out into speaking these many languages. But advantages, trust me, we live in 2017, the age of Facebook, the age of the world becoming a planetary village. Speaking more than one language can only open many doors for you.
Yeah. So then what really inspired you, to take this journey to be a translator, interpreter?
Well, that's another good question, Marco. You always know how to hit. Well, truly, I had a teacher when I was in high school. His name, we used to call him Mr. Quiz.
Mr. Quiz, like a quiz?
Like a quiz, because this man, believe me, he had a very specific way of making sure that students were straightened up.
Yes.
When we expected it the least, that's when we got a quiz.
Whoa.
So, and this man, just the way he spoke English back in those days, you can imagine me in Gabon.
So you came from a French-speaking country.
That is correct, indeed. Correct indeed. So in Gabon, speaking French and meeting this man that could speak English just like, sounding like these BBC reporters, his voice, his charisma in that. I easily got, motivated by the man. So I wanted to speak just like him.
Wow.
And once I was able to feel comfortable speaking English, I felt, well, how about if I try Spanish? And, I just kept adding these languages, and I feel more comfortable talking.
So
to
how
people.
many languages can you speak fluently right now?
In total, I can say that I can speak French,
Okay.
I can speak Spanish,
Okay.
I can speak English eventually,
Okay.
and German as
German.
well.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna challenge you at the end of the show. So let's see. I don't know
That's
yet.
right.
I don't know yet what I'm gonna do, but let's see.
All right, Marco.
So one of your book is called "Standing for My Dream." What is the purpose of that book?
Good question, Marco. Standing for My Dream is really a book that is subjective to my person. It is a story that talks about me leaving my home country of Gabon and coming to the United States, embracing this new culture, discovering this new country, these new people, and seeing how I can find myself through this new culture.
Yes.
So at the same time, I'm talking about my story, the experiences I had as an international student in the United States, and also exposing some of those realities and challenges that sometimes Americans are not aware of. So it's always good to see somebody on the street and know what their story is.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring that in Standing for My Dream.
Wow, awesome. And then, so as I was a former international student myself too,
Right.
like you were. So what tips or advice do you have for international students, somebody who maybe come to the US today or been living here already? What tips do you have for them to be successful?
Learn, and learn before you make the trip.
Okay.
You know, you have to learn before you make the trip. One thing that I realized when I came to the United States, especially in this huge cosmopolitan city as New York City, where I was.
No, Omaha.
No, Omaha. No offense, I love Omaha, Nebraska, though.
Okay.
But me arriving to New York, you know, I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
You know, the idea of the United States I had was what I saw on TV. You know, this nice place where you get your dreams come true. You just get there and everything just start trickling down.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I believe most international students don't know that when they come in. So learn, by that I mean before coming to the United States, we have to understand it is a country with its own problems, its own realities, and we need to know those before we make the jump. That way it becomes easier to integrate the society.
I mean, that's
so
good point.
learn.
What about people who are already here, who want to succeed? So what tips and advice do you have for those people?
Gotta get with Larock. I gotta say that. You have to get that. One thing that I learned, Larock, and that is from you as well, is you in anything you do, you need a master. And in the age of networking, you need to follow the steps of whoever you want to be like. You know, for those who are already here, the advantage of being in the United States is that we have, it's like a platform with all these, so much resources available. So, you know, get into that resources, you know, go learn, go meet with somebody, learn from them. What was their experience? What is the mistake they made that you cannot make? You know, the only way we can do that is to talk to each other. So don't be that immigrant, if I can speak like so, that sits home and just, you know, by themselves and just hope that things will just trickle down. No, go out there, meet people, ask questions, learn your environment, and I believe once you begin to do that, things will seem appear a little bit easier.
But that just sometimes is not always easy for somebody who might say, like, you know, introvert, who might have the challenge of the language.
Right.
You know, going out there to network and to meet somebody like Frank or Marco and to embrace all those things.
That's correct.
You know, so there's all those challenges as well.
That is true. That's true. But again, like I said, it's also about understanding and knowing the reason you made that trip. You know? We didn't leave our homes so that we can just sit, you know, and go to Starbucks and just sit. No, we came here with a purpose. With purpose, you know, with, you know, at a different level. But out there are people we need to connect with that can make that come true.
So you just mentioned purpose, and that's the title of your next book coming up in September.
Indeed.
So I would like to know more about purpose.
All right. The purpose is a very special book, Marco. Is I remember when I published my second book, Tears of Love, and I was attending a book signing event in San Juan, Puerto Rico. A student asked a question, said she had read my first book, Standing for My Dream, and she said, Frank, I noticed that you seem young, but when you write, it's a lot heavier. It doesn't seem like it's you. Do you have something that you can write that can relate to your person as we know you now? It got me thinking. I was like, wow, okay, let me write something that can reflect who I am at the moment. So the purpose talks about, you know, what I found being a frustrating experience for me was to wake up in the morning with all this time and not even know why I have time. How do you wake up in the morning, you're still alive, but you don't know why? And I went through that questioning. You know, I couldn't make sense of my existence. Why am I studying? Why am I speaking these languages? Why am I writing these books? I needed to find a purpose.
Yeah, so the why, the reason.
That is correct indeed. And so in this book, I'm talking about it. I'm talking about the necessity for each of us to be able to travel within yourself and find that purpose that already is in you. Because, you know, I believe in a God that made you a finished product. So you were a finished product. It's in there in you. Make that journey, find that purpose, and start living.
So how do you travel within yourself?
Good question, Larock. I invite you to come and attend the release of the book so we can learn about it.
Wow, you're a marketer. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, Larock.
Appreciate that. So what are you the most grateful for today?
That's another very deep question, Larock. I'm very grateful to be alive. I like to say that. I'm very grateful to be alive, and I have learned over time that as long as you keep living, you keep pushing forward, by all means, you get to be grateful about that. You know, people don't have the opportunity to wake up in the morning and work toward a dream, toward achieving their purposes. But if I can wake up in the morning, despite the challenges, despite the obstacles that I go through as I pursue this journey, I'm grateful that God allows me to remain alive and keep hoping for a better tomorrow.
Okay. So after the purpose, what is next for Franck? What is in your to-do list? What is that dream that you're looking to accomplish? What is that next thing for you?
Larock, if there is something that I have found out over time, and Franck's life in America teaching me that, is that under the sun, you can always refine your dreams and keep, when I first came to the United States, my only goal was to go to school, get a degree, maybe go home and please my parents that I have a degree from the United States and all that.
Yeah.
But I realized that as I grow and mature as a man and trying to find a purpose and a meaning to my life, I discovered that the dreams can change and be redefined. And, I just ought to leave it to the future to tell me.
Yeah.
Okay? That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah. So if you have a power today to make one impact in the world, what would that be?
By conviction, I am a Pan-Africanist. I really believe in making sure that Africa is able to compete tomorrow. And so if I have something that I'm working on, hopefully I'm able to significantly impact young people in Africa and in the third world in general, particularly in Africa, to open their eyes and actually start pursuing their dreams and start truly living despite the obstacles they go through. So I want to be that guy that can go out there, meet the people, encourage them. Yeah. I'm a huge disciple of Dr. Martin Luther King, and he said the greatest purpose in life is when you find yourself doing something for somebody else.
Somebody else, yeah.
That's right there hits my life.
Well, awesome. So we're gonna conclude, but before we do that, what would be your last advice to my viewers? And I would love you to say that in French, in Spanish, in German, and all stuff. So
no, that is great.
That's my challenge for you.
Okay,
so, yeah.
That's a good challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, primero quisiera agradecer a mis lectores porque es a causa de ustedes que soy capaz de mejorar como un autor y también como un hombre viviendo su sueño. Entonces, quisiera invitar a ustedes a encontrarme en el día 22 del mes de septiembre aquí en Omaha, que vamos a discutir el tema de mi nuevo libro. Como le decía a mi amigo Loroc aquí, la vida se trata de la voluntad. Cuando tú tienes una verdadera pasión para tocar su sueño, hay que hacerlo. Entonces yo le estoy invitando para discutir mi tema del libro que se llama El Purpose. J'aimerais dire merci une fois de plus à mes lecteurs, d'abord parce que c'est à cause de vous que j'arrive à grandir, que j'arrive à poursuivre mes rêves et surtout arrive à avoir du progrès en tant qu'auteur et aussi en tant qu'individu qui poursuit ses rêves. Donc je vous invite déjà tous à venir nombreux au lancement officiel de mon 3e ouvrage. I would like to thank Larock, and I would like to, first of all, encourage you to go out there and chase your dream. Your dream, I always believe that your dream holds the key to your destiny. It is out there. Chase your dream so that you can make sense of your life. And in the meantime, I'm also inviting you to come and be with me on September 22nd for the release of my 3rd book, The Purpose.
You missed one. There's one in German. Oh, wait. I'm just giving a hard time. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Larock. Thank you.